Oh, yeah, that's the email. Send me a calendar. All right. I don't live anywhere, we be kind of far away, like 2 hours. So that's what it is. The furthest is probably like 4 hours, 5 hours. Okay, so not super. Yes. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to session 3 of our L Institute. I'm so glad that you guys made it. I heard the weather was kind of iffy this morning. I see a lot of heads shaking. Well, I'm excited you made it here in one piece. You guys are in for a treat today. You're going to hear from someone else. So I have two ladies from the support ed team. I will let them self-introduce and take it from here, but I will be here all day. They have a full day planned out for you. I'm excited and I hope that you are ready to receive. And we also have some of our colleagues online live streaming. So we want to welcome them as well. And I will turn it over to the both of them.
All right, good morning, and thank you for that introduction. Before we jump into our introductions and our content, I want to make you aware of our Padlet of resources. So everybody has a handout packet. And on this handout packet, you see the QR code and then a bit.ly link that will take you there. So what I'd like everybody to do, if you can, is to access that link up there, the bit.ly, bit.ly /LDOE_ELs, to fill out a brief pre-session survey. We always like to have participants fill out a survey at the beginning of our sessions and at the end of our sessions to get a sense of whether or not we're really meeting your needs. So we really appreciate it if you just take a moment to access that. And if you're having any trouble accessing it, just raise your hand and I'll come over and help you. I'll give us just maybe 2 minutes. That will be perfect, Dina. Thanks. So you can see when you access that bit.ly, you'll get to this Padlet. And in this first column under March 16th, session materials, really anything we're going to be engaging with is going to be on this Padlet or in your handout packet. And so the pre-session survey is that first link that you'll see. So you'll just click there and it will take you to that survey. And it's a very brief survey. All right. So as everybody is finishing up that pre-session survey, and I see some of us scanning still, I'll give you another second. So our session today is all about turning research into action, specifically looking at strengthening EL scheduling and instructional strategies. My name is Megan Gregoire Smith. So Dina and I both come from a company called Support Ed, but we always like to start by just giving you a super brief overview of our background, so you know kind of where we're coming from and what our experience is working with ELs. And so I went to undergrad at North Carolina State University, and then I got my master's in TESOL at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. And while I was getting my master's, I lived in Ecuador for about 6 months, teaching English as a foreign language to young adults, and really just kind of fell in love with language teaching. And from there, I moved back to Maryland. So I'm originally from Maryland. I moved back to Maryland and I worked in a couple of different districts, Prince George's County and Anne Arundel County, as an English language development teacher. And then also at the central office level as an instructional coach and an instructional specialist, really focused on supporting the access testing, supporting professional learning and coaching ELD teachers new to the field. And then in 2021, I joined Support Ed, where I do a lot of professional learning for teachers across the country, coaching, technical assistance. And I also still teach part-time at an elementary school in my home district where my kids go to school. So I still get some of that time in the classroom with English learners, and also some time with adult learners really focused on supporting English learners.
Thanks. And just a little bit about me. Hi, my name is Dina Marshall. It's nice to meet all of you. I just have a couple of pictures of my family up there. I have a 5-year-old son, and then a picture of my family growing up. My mom is from Jamaica. I have my pets too. Just love the family, you know. But I grew up in Michigan, and so I've been living out in the D.C., Maryland area for about 18 years now, but I still consider Michigan to be home. So I did my undergrad at the University of Michigan, and then I went to grad school at American University in DC. And so all of my educational experience is in the Washington, D.C. charter school system, where I was an English learner teacher and then a coach, and then I was the director of our program. And so I recently decided to pause on the school system for a little bit so I could be home with my son. And now I'm working as a English learner coach with Support Ed. And then just some fun facts about me. I am like teaching myself Korean. I really love K-pop music. If any of you have heard of BTS, they're like my favorite group, or maybe you know the K-pop Demon Hunters movie. I'm like really into that. So I'm teaching myself Korean. I do speak a little bit of Spanish as well. So that's just a little bit about me.
And so we've mentioned that we work for Support Ed. We are a small woman-owned company based out of Fairfax, Virginia. This is our whole team. Our mission really is supporting English learners, their educators, and their families. So the work that we do is a lot of professional learning like we're doing today, as well as getting into classrooms and coaching teachers, as well as technical assistance at the district and the state levels. And so we just want to take a moment to thank you guys for coming here today. We're really excited to be here. We love when we get to travel and go to different states and meet different people and learn about the different programs and the ways that they're supporting English learners. So thank you all for coming and braving some of this bad weather. The session objectives for today. So these are all listed on your handout. We have an agenda here for the day. We have 4 overarching objectives. They are to discuss the sense of urgency for strengthening English learner programming in your context, explore best practices for scheduling ELs by examining 3 case studies, select 3 to 4 EL scaffolding and peer learning strategies and tools to share with educators in your context, and to develop a plan to strengthen EL scheduling and teacher capacity with EL research-based practices in your context for next year. So really our goals for today are for you to be thinking about how can you take this learning and turn it around in your context to really support ELs and teachers of ELs in this coming school year. Okay. Okay. No worries. Well, we're waiting. I know a couple people trickled in after we got started. So just in case you didn't hear, on the first page of the handout, we have a bit.ly link that gives you access to all of the resources that we're going to be referencing today digitally. And so you can scan that on your phone, or if you have your laptop with you, you can type in that bit.ly to access the Padlet and all those resources.
There's definitely a lag. Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, you were down. Something else. Okay. Good morning.
Okay. Thank you guys for your patience. We've got to get the live stream up and running, and then we'll get started again. Okay. Thank you guys for your patience. All right, so jumping right back in. Throughout the session today, you're going to see these session icons in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Anytime that we're working in the handout packet, you'll see the handout packet icon. If we're referencing or using materials from the Padlet, you'll see that icon. We do have a video activity later in the day and opportunities for some individual reading and reflection. We'll have lots of discussion activities, so we'll be asking you to turn and talk to your partner, sometimes get up and talk to small groups. And so you see those discussion and the movement icons as well. And then we have a fairly big group. So when we're engaging in small group discussion or pair discussion, when it's time for us to come back together as a large group, myself or Dina will raise our hand. If you see us raise our hand, please raise your hand as well. And that's kind of a signal to the whole group to wrap up your discussions and come back together as a whole group. And so this is our agenda for the day. The times are approximate, right? We are flexible, we're teachers. So we're starting with our opening and introductions. We're going to look at best practices for strengthening ELP programming and best practices for scheduling. And then we'll break for an hour lunch and come back and look at scaffolding and peer learning strategies that you can bring back to educators in your context to support ELs. And then you'll have time at the end of the session to really think through how you'll apply this learning within your context. And then we'll end with a brief evaluation. We always like to get feedback, what worked and what could we improve on in the future. And so I've referenced our Padlet of resources. The handout is on this Padlet, the PDF of the session slides, links to some different resources that we'll be sharing. So we'll be referencing and engaging with this Padlet periodically throughout the day. But a lot of our work is also going to be within this handout packet. So we're going to start with some introductions. So what I'd like you to do here is to kind of get with a small group of people sitting around you. I'd say, maybe 3, 4, 5 people just kind of clustered together. And I'd like you to introduce yourself to your small group, share your name, your role, and what you're hoping to get out of this session. All right, so I know some of you are sitting by yourselves. I think it would be really beneficial to be sitting a little bit closer to people during the session so that we're able to do these turn and talk. So I'll give you a minute to kind of get into those small groups. Okay, thank you. No problem.
If we what? Oh, oh, Michelle Arms, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm trying not to move much when I'm talking. All right, I'll give him 30 more seconds, then bring them back together. Thank you. I'm gonna bring them back together. I think that's enough time.
All right, I'm going to ask that we all come back together. So throughout the day now, anytime that we ask you to chat in small groups, that small group that you just chatted with, that will be your small group. Now you know each other, you know your role, a little bit about what you're hoping to learn from today. And we are going to set up one other partnering. Oh, it's not up. Okay. Yeah, we can totally do this without the slideshow. So if you turn to page 2 of the handout, we have something called dining partners. So I'm just curious, just by show of hands, how many of you have used or seen dining partners used in a classroom? All right, I'm seeing a couple of hands up. So this is a partnering strategy where students are pre-assigned a partner to work with. And a teacher could say, all right, for this activity, we're going to meet with our breakfast partner or with our lunch partner or with our dinner partner. So we are going to, throughout the day, be engaging in different instructional strategies that you can bring back to the teachers that you work with in your context. And one of them is dining partners. So what I'm going to ask you to do is you are going to find a breakfast, lunch, and a dinner partner.